As I read this article, at first I wasn't fazed. Shrine rituals are not uncommon in most North American cultures. Of course, I assumed rituals were pretty mild, like prayers and worshiping and songs. I did not assume that they would be so cruel and violent. As I kept reading, I was taken aback by the rituals that they did have. I kept getting more and more surprised as I read on. Three things that really stuck out to me, in not a good way, were when they had to drill holes in teeth, they baked the women's heads in ovens for an hour, and the scraping and laceration of skin. These far-out beliefs lead to cruel rituals, and I don't know how these people have survived this long not survived. I don't know how these people have really kept their culture alive, because it's so dangerous. I'm going to be talking about a communication ritual in my culture. My culture being Gen Z for the time being, and I'm going to specifically be talking about Snapchat. In Snapchat, basically the whole premise is you take a picture and you send it to your friend. Sometimes there's a caption, but oftentimes you're just snapping pictures of yourself back and forth. The outside perspective finds this really odd. I never really thought about it until I took a picture and I sent it to my friend, and my mom watched me and she asked me, "What are you doing that for?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just taking a snap to my friend." And she's like, "Well, what's the point?" And honestly, I thought back, I was like, what is the point? Like, I thought back and I thought about it. There's no communication going on. I'm just sending my friend a picture of myself. And I just think that that is really something to think about, because it's so normal in the Gen Z culture, and you're really not gaining anything from it. And I think that that's just a really weird communication ritual, that you're not really communicating at all, but yet you're still in communication with someone. Like, if I wasn't regularly Snapchatting a friend, I wouldn't say I was close with them. I wouldn't say we're still in contact. But if I'm just snapping them, regardless of the communication, like regardless of the conversation going on, I would still say I'm in contact with them. Which is, I just think it's so odd, because you're not really, it's literally a picture. And it's just so normal in our culture and our young age to, like, that's just like a regular thing, and we don't even think about it. We don't even think twice. But from the outside perspective of older people, older generations, they think it's really odd, and it is really odd. So I don't know, I just think it's something to think about. Communication has obviously changed a lot throughout history, especially in the last 20-30 years. So at first you could only communicate with somebody through letter, or obviously in person, but like someone far away, you could only talk to them through letters and mail. Then the invention of the phone came along and changed a lot. You could talk to many people, you could talk to people far away, and it was a really, really good thing. And then there was the invention of the cell phone, where you could talk to people not at home, you could talk to people out in the car, you could talk to people at work, that was also, I think, a really good thing. Then there was email, which was mostly used for work situations, and now it's used for a lot. I think email was also a very good invention. It allowed you to send quick, concise information to somebody without having to make a phone call. Then texting came. Texting is also a quick, concise way to keep in touch with your friends, and I think it's a really good thing. And finally, social media. And I think social media at first was really good. You keep in touch with people from parts of your life you moved on from. You get to keep in touch with friends from high school. You get to keep in touch with friends from elementary. You get to find people you've disconnected with. But I think in our culture now, we've become so connected online that we're just disconnected. Like I was talking about Snapchat. I'm Snapchatting this person without even having a conversation. And it's like, I'm in contact with them, but there's no conversation. So in our culture, we're just so overly connected that it's causing a disconnect from people in real life, which again is something to think about. According to an article called The Views of Social Media and Its Impact on Society by, bear with me because there are a lot of authors, Richard Wyke, Laura Silver, Janelle Federoff, Christina Wang, Sarah Austin, Laura Clancy, and Snegwala. I'm sorry. When asked whether social media is a good or bad thing for democracy in their country, a median of 57% across 19 countries say that it is a good thing. I think, so it's pretty much half and half. 57 is almost 50-50. I think I agree with that. I think it's beneficial and detrimental at the same time. To me, it's beneficial in ways where you can connect to people. It's good for business, it's good for marketing, it's good for a lot of things. I think it's, when used correctly, I think it is a very good thing. Social media, the bad parts of social media, the detrimental parts, is staying too connected. You're too connected, you're disconnected. You think just because you talk to somebody online, you have a relationship with them. I think that we get so stuck that social media is real life when it's just not. We just get so stuck in our ways. And I think that that's been a really big part of our culture, especially my culture as a Gen Z. I think that it is very important as our society that we kind of break away from that way of communicating. And I think we need to call more, text less. We need to meet up with people in person. If you're in contact with someone, ask them to hang out. Like, human interaction is so important for so many things, and it's just, as a culture, I think we really, really need to stray away from being so focused on social media and how we are portrayed on social media, because that's not real communication. I think that it all started as such a good thing, but that's not communication. That's a ritual of communication. Like, for our culture, it's communication ritual, but it's not, to me, it's not real communication unless you're using it the right ways. And I just think it's so abused now that it's just really tough to kind of stray away from and decipher where the line is. But anyways, that is my take on this article and how we as Gen Z communicate. Thank you.